Agro TV ekranlarında Tarım Elçisi ile karşınızdayız ve şu anda Ankara'da Hollanda Büyükelçiliğindeyiz ve Hollanda Büyükelçiliği Tarım Müsteşarı Maarten Wegen bizi misafir ediyor ve kendisine Türkiye-Hollanda arasındaki tarım alanındaki ilişkileri ve daha da önemlisi dünyada tarım alanında lider olan bir ülke olduğu için Hollanda'dan örnek alabileceklerimizi, Hollanda ile yapabileceğimiz işbirliklerini hepsini soracağız. Hello Mr. Wegen, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you.
It's an opportunity for us as well, first of all, I know it's been a little bit over 2 years, right? 1 year.
Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years since I arrived here in 2020. And of course it's been an eventful 2 years. A lot has happened to all of us. So, but I'm still very honored to work here in Turkey and to work in agriculture.
I want to start by asking, first of all, the agricultural relations between Turkey and Netherlands, and can you just have a general evaluation of where we are on that?
Yeah, so the agricultural relations are very good and have always been good, especially in the last 20, 30 years. I think with the development of agriculture in the Netherlands and in Turkey, I think a lot has happened, and the relations are very good. We work together closely with the Turkish authorities and the ministry, with which we have a good relationship, but also with the private sector. A lot is happening, and yeah, trade is going well, but also a lot of common interests and common challenges. So it's definitely an exciting time to be agricultural counselor here.
Netherlands, after the United States of America, is the world's biggest exporter and in agriculture for products. And with regards to this, when we look at this situation, Netherlands can be a great example for many countries. And as Turkey, we have a lot of opportunities, and I think everybody can agree that we can be at a much better position than where we are. So if you can evaluate the Turkish agriculture industry, where do you think we need the most improvement?
That's a very good question. It's always dangerous to compare countries because the history between the history of the Netherlands is completely different than the Turkish history, of course. But what has worked for the Netherlands, of course, has been to increase production standards and quality and sustainability, and those three issues are very important if you make a better product with a higher added value. And in the Netherlands, we manage that in the last decades, and I think it's a challenge for all countries, not just Turkey, but all countries worldwide, to continue to improve the agricultural standards and the quality in order to remain competitive, but also to have an added value, which means you have a bigger income also at farm level. So I think that is the most important, but just not just only for Turkey, but for everyone really in agriculture.
Around the world, we are dealing with a lot of problems as well, climate change and water scarcity and loss of biodiversity. We have a lot of problems that we are facing. And what do you think that investment in agricultural technologies can be one of the ways to overcome these problems?
Yeah, I think it is the only way to actually overcome those problems. Of course, it depends what you invest in. It's in technology, but also innovation. And also you have to improve the knowledge levels at farm level, but also at universities and within the bigger companies, so that you can actually produce better and more diverse products. So to challenge those problems that we are all facing, every single country has to continue to innovate and be more knowledge-based, let's say, rather than just producing more. That's also part of it, but the sustainability drive is very important because climate change, water scarcity, soil erosion, it's not going to go away by itself. So in order to feed the world, we have to find sustainable solutions. And I think that's something for Turkey and the Netherlands, but all of us to invest in.
And the world population is also going forward. It's quite growing at quite a fast rate. And when we look at all this that we talked about, do you think that profitability in the agricultural industry has also an advantage in sustainability?
Of course, you have to. Profitability is important in the sense that you have to be a competitive company, let's say, or a farmer. You have to look at where you can. Of course, everybody has to earn a living as well. That's important. You don't do it for free. So profitability, competitiveness, earning a fair wage is also important. But if you look at the long run, the sustainability part is very important, because you can earn money now, but if you don't have a company or a farm in 30 years, then it's not much use. So it has to go hand in hand, the sustainability and earning a decent income. So and that's part of the balance that we have to find, of course.
When we look at the Turkish agricultural industry, and when we talk to our farmers, most of them are basing their projects and future plans on government subventions as well. And there is very limited number of firms who are mostly making their plans with regards to their own self. So when we look at Netherlands as an example, could you give us a little bit of detail on that?
Yes, so within Europe, you of course have the advantage but also the history of the common agriculture policy, where all the EU countries are working together on the agricultural policies. And of course there's a very complicated system of subventions and support. But especially in the EU, but I think also other countries, there's a very big change now from supporting income to supporting sustainability measures, greening measures, environmental measures. So there's a big change going on, and I think in that sense there's not the focus on income has shifted to more sustainability production methods. That's what the subventions are used for. So also I think if I apply that to Turkey, of course the government has a very important role to play, and I think they do that as well. But the challenges remain. I mean, it's in Europe and Turkey, the challenges are not too different. But of course, farmers have to not just rely on the government. I know it's very difficult and it's very tough, especially with the current conditions. But you have to also make smart business decisions yourself. But of course, the government should make a framework and facilitate development of the company. But yeah, the focus on income has shifted a bit in the EU.
And I think with regards to value-added products, we have a long way to go. So what are your advices on that?
Two things. One is product innovation. So if you, on a farm level, but also especially, what do you do with your product? Do you manage to add value? Can you make cheese from milk, for example? Can you make other products from your primary produce? That's very important because you can earn more money on that. The other one is, of course, to find new trading partners. If you can manage to export, well, the current government is of course promoting that, but there's also more to be earned in that sense. At the same time, now we see the crisis in Ukraine and the worldwide situation. We get a new focus on food availability, food security, food at decent prices for consumers with the inflation happening in Europe and here. So it's a complicated situation, but I think you have to always try to continue to innovate at your products as well.
Can we talk a little bit in detail about the products that are being exported and imported between Turkey and Netherlands? There, for example, I find tulips also very interesting. As far as I know, we were the motherland of tulips once upon a time, and now with Netherlands being, I think, probably the biggest exporter of tulips. So with regards to this, it's a really interesting story, and there are many other products like that. So could you talk a little bit in detail about the products?
Well, the tulip, like we have there, is one of the symbols that connects Turkey and the Netherlands, of course. But in terms of trade between Turkey and the Netherlands, I think the trade is about 650 million euros each year, both ways. So it's actually quite equal trading partners, and that's a positive trend. It's growing every year also, so I think that's very positive. In terms of products, it's very diverse. But of course, Turkey is known for the fruits and vegetables, but especially also the walnuts and the dried fruits, which you can find everywhere in the Netherlands. In all the big cities, you have the Turkish produce there. So I think Turkey really has added value on those niche products, but also the fruits and vegetables, of course. The other way around, it's very diverse, because the Netherlands, we import a lot, we export a lot. So, but the flowers is a good example. Ornamentals and plants is one of our biggest exporting subsectors. So I think we're also proud of that in the Netherlands.
How about partnerships between Turkey and Netherlands with regards to education in agriculture and with regards to innovations?
So there's of course frequent contacts already at company level. I think Dutch companies know the way to Turkey, Turkish companies know the way to the Netherlands. So I think on a commercial basis a lot is happening. Previously, of course, universities and knowledge institutions have been active here in Turkey. So I think there's no one stopping increasing collaboration on a knowledge level. Innovation is of course very much part of the for the companies and the commercial entities to find each other. So I think we also try to focus on that. We have an innovation team in Istanbul as well from the embassy. So we try to emphasize that. But it's the key to develop, absolutely.
And lastly, world's most sufficient agricultural systems are in Netherlands, and we are, of course, following closely. And this is a long journey, but it's not that long actually when we look at history, and so it can give us a lot of hope as well. Could you say maybe your last words with regards to this?
Yeah, of course. I think what we realized in the Netherlands, I think the last 10 years at least, is that it's trying to produce as much as possible to be most efficient. It gives you something, but you also lose a lot. And we discussed that a little bit, because you lose the biodiversity, environment, water quality, erosion. So that's not the answer for the future. The future has to be about innovation and sustainability. And I think in closing, the issues that are facing Turkey in a way are the same ones that we face in the Netherlands. Of course, so there's a little bit of a difference, but in the end, we are in it together. So I think there's a very logical cooperation between the Netherlands and Turkey, and the EU and Turkey as well, because it has a benefit not just for one party, for both. So it's a mutual interest. And that's also why we're active here, to stimulate this mutual interest. And Turkey is a very, very important country for the Netherlands and the EU in terms of agriculture and geopolitically speaking as well. Especially now, we notice that again. So no, it's again, it's an honor to work here, and I think we have a lot of work to do. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Just one final question
Sure.
I want to add with regards to the young generation, because there was actually a shift. Most of the young generation migrated from the villages to the cities. But now, kind of, especially in the last few years, and COVID also speeded up a little bit this, some young generations are going back to their villages, going back to farming, going back to their grandparents' investments.
Yeah.
So do you feel this when you look at your corporations in Turkey?
Yes, so I do meet those people sometimes, and the interesting thing is what you get is a very interesting crossover, because it becomes easier to go back because of the digital revolution, and the opportunities that internet gives you, you know, for not just for farming but also in terms of connectivity. You know, you can live in a rural area and you can still have feel connected, you know, to the world. You have a social life and so on. So, and I think there's a new appreciation for the rural areas, which is very important. And I think, you know, if you are innovative, if you have creative ideas, if you're willing to work hard, you can also have a very good life there, you know, and yeah, agriculture will not go away. It will remain to be an important sector for the future. So I think it's good to notice that. Yes.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much as well. Thank you.
Bir Tarım Elçisi programının daha sonuna geldik. Hollanda Büyükelçiliğinden Maarten Wegen'a çok teşekkür ediyoruz ve bir başka Tarım Elçisi programında tekrar karşınızda olacağız. Hoşça kalın.